Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It is Thursday morning, April 20th. Feels more like February to me, but we're going to talk about the weather in just a second with Jared. But first, I want to let you know that you can always find this Facebook Live on your Facebook feed in the morning, about 8 o'clock. You can also find us on our InForum YouTube channel or your favorite podcast platform. Just go to inforum.com/podcast and look for the InForum Minute. You can find us almost anywhere.
And Jared's in for Lydia this morning, and we have weather's really the big story. That's everybody's talking about snow. We were hoping the last big storm was the last one, but it's for real. It's snow again.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to fill in more so today and start accumulating more. So I was just checking, most of the snow right now and the rain is in eastern parts of North Dakota. I was checking out the DOT cameras there, and you can see the snow flying. It's not sticking a whole lot yet, maybe in a few isolated spots, but more of this is going to fill in starting in eastern North Dakota. Then it kind of transitions into that I-29 corridor and then eventually into northern Minnesota. So as the day moves forward, conditions are going to change for everyone. I'm expecting some snow-covered roads. It could be a little slushy and slick later on. And some of us are going to accumulate some snow. We have winter storm warnings for northern parts of the area, so some places may see over a half foot of snow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it sucks, but this time of year, I mean, it doesn't last very long. Yeah. So there's good news there. And the good news about today is the bulk of the snowfalls. It's not going to be very windy today. Tomorrow, though, will be a blustery one. Okay. So, but I'm seeing tomorrow is one of those days with just like these light bursts of snow that don't really accumulate to anything, and it's just going to be whipping around. So there'll be snow on the radar tomorrow, but I don't see any accumulations for our Friday. It's just going to be a cold, bitter day with a lot of winds. And then they're actually going to stay cold all the way through the weekend with highs only in the 30s. So just the bearer of good news today. On this,
sorry, we invited you over.
Yeah,
just kidding.
I should have just let him stay over in the Weather Center. But yeah, kind of a tough day here and tomorrow as well. But then later on next week, we're back up in the 40s and 50s, which is still a little cool, but it's going to be better than these 30s we're having.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully melt the snow away quickly once it gets here too.
Yeah, I'm thinking even if we have some mid-30s this weekend, a lot of this is going to disappear.
Okay.
Good. That's
we'll make
the silver lining.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff. All right, thank you, Jared. All right, of course, we're also still tracking the flood season, river levels. We have a couple updates for you this morning along those lines. In downtown Moorhead, the Brookdale Underpass and Woodlawn Park Drive are now both closed. And today, First Avenue North, west of the Yumcomp Center, between 3rd Street and 7th Street, will be closing. Another closing you should be aware of today is in Fargo. That's where 2nd Street South, between Main Avenue and 4th Street South, will close. So kind of new areas every day as the water's going up.
Yeah.
So
keep that in mind when you're driving around. All right, also right now the Sheyenne River near Harwood is expected to crest very soon. And people in that neighboring area there are getting prepared ahead of what could be a tough flood season for them. People have already started getting sandbags ready to put out in front of their yards to protect their houses as the water creeps closer to their property. The river could crest in the next couple days here.
The next story we're tracking for you out at Grand Forks. Luckily, no one was hurt following a crash that actually sparked a fire at the Icon Sports Center in Grand Forks. Grand Forks police tell us an 89-year-old woman ran into a transformer that was sitting just outside of the building. She hit that. It started on fire. A woman and child inside the car, they were not hurt, and the fire was put out. It did affect that, the hockey arena, I think, maybe just closed down for a little while when they were responding. So.
All right, we are expecting to get more information today about that suspicious death that we reported on and happened in Moorhead. Police were doing a welfare check on Monday at an apartment in the 1800 block of First Avenue North. When they got inside, they found a man who was dead. We had some video of the scene there. We're hoping to learn more today. Moorhead police and investigators were on that scene until the early morning hours on Tuesday trying to figure out what happened. Once we get that update, we will pass it along to you.
We also know more this morning about a story we broke for you yesterday on First News. Following up on that police chase on I-94, we now know the names of the people who were arrested. Troopers tried to stop 33-year-old David Jacobs on I-94 in Fergus Falls for a traffic violation, but he took off, leading them on a chase on I-94. He eventually was stopped near the Moorhead Airport. At that point, he was arrested for fleeing, DWI, and possession of a controlled substance. And we know the other woman in the car that was arrested, 32-year-old Kimberly Foster. She was in the car at the time and arrested for obstruction of the legal process. 2 other passengers in the car were not arrested.
All right, we have an update for you on a story that we broke for you yesterday here on First News as well. One of those missing teenagers in Fargo has thankfully been found. 13-year-old Takara Mork, she was found after going missing on Tuesday. Fargo PD confirmed Wednesday evening on a Facebook post that Mork had been found and is safe. So good news there.
We're going to see some people doing the polar plunge this afternoon, which makes sense because we have snow. I would think like this time in April, you'll be doing the polar plunge in nice warm water. Not the case. This one's happening in Moorhead today, of course, supporting the Special Olympics Minnesota. It'll be at MSUM's Nemzik Hall from 4:30 to 6. Organizers have set a goal of $30,000. They've already raised over $12,000, and you can still register. If you want to take the plunge as well, just go to plungemn.org/events.
Yeah, if you're a brave soul and want to help out a good cause, go for it. National headlines today. Police have arrested a third suspect in that deadly Alabama mass shooting. 20-year-old Wilson Hill Jr. is now facing 4 counts of reckless murder. He joins a 16 and 17-year-old who are facing the same charges. Those two were arrested on Tuesday. Authorities say more charges will likely be filed in the incident. It left 4 young people dead at a Sweet 16 birthday party over the weekend. 32 others were injured. 4 of them remain in critical condition this morning.
This morning, there are new allegations from an IRS supervisor that the investigation into President Joe Biden's son is being mishandled. That supervisor is now asking for whistleblower protection, which would allow him to disclose information and come forward to Congress. The investigation, of course, is into Hunter Biden's tax affairs. Last October, the Washington Post reported that federal authorities had gathered what they believed was sufficient evidence to charge it out. The president's son is facing, like I said, some tax crimes and also making false statements to buy a gun. So we'll continue tracking that one for you.
Well, not good news this morning for Minnesota sports fans. A lot of groans, a lot of moans, along with the weather. The Wolves lost 113-122 last night in Denver. The Nuggets have now a 2-game lead on the Wolves. It's a best-of-7 playoff series. The Wild also lost in Dallas. The score of that game was 3-7. That series is now tied at 1. Both of those series go back to the Twin Cities for their next games. The Wild play in St. Paul, the Wolves in Minneapolis. I believe both games are at 8:30 tomorrow night. You can be sure that Dom is going to be talking about that on his show this morning. Hot Mic. You can watch it on WDAY Extra and InForum.com. Starts at 11, starts at 9, goes to 11.
And want to remind you that it's a great time to get your InForum.com subscription, 99 cents a month for your first 3 months. And then join us this afternoon, well, this morning. We have our next newscast coming up at 11 this morning, and then this afternoon, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 for your latest news and weather headlines. Of course, John Wheeler will be tracking the snow, rain, snow, that sloppy mess throughout the day. So tune in for that.
Yeah, and then we continue to track whatever is left over tomorrow morning, as well as flood concerns from 5 to 7 on First News on Friday. So join us then as well. Bye.